Hello fellow option traders, this is Jeff, and this is a video that some folks have been asking for that relate to the indicators and studies and moving averages and things like that that I have on my charts that I have changed for the credit spread system version 2 since I put that out in January. I believe it was in January of this year, 2014. Well, since that time I've made some changes, and unless you've been following along, it's probably difficult to try to figure out what it was exactly that I did. Okay, so I'm going to dig into this, and I'm going to try to remember the things that I changed. I think the biggest change is up here on the price chart with the moving averages. So if I right-click on this particular moving average, it's going to tell you that it is a Hull moving average, and it is a 20-period moving average. I took off the other moving, or turned them off anyway, because I really like the Hull because it's so smooth, and it reacts quick enough, I think, for the most part. So I've kind of hung on to it. So let's right-click anywhere on the chart, but not on any drawing or candle or any other thing on the chart, just in a blank area, right-click. And then come down here to Studies, and let's go to Edit Studies, because that's where it's happening, folks. That just plain old is where it's happening. All right, so I have a lot of studies on here, but most of them are turned off. So the first thing you want to do, if you have any, is click on this little gear over here, which allows you to edit the study. So this is a moving exponential average that I have on there. I don't even need it anymore. So you know what I'm going to do? I will never use this thing, because it's not mine. It's not an Option Guru moving average, so it's not changing color or anything like that. So I'm just going to take it off. This is a simple moving average. It's not an Option Guru one, so I'm taking that one off, and I'm taking this one off, so I'm just cleaning this up, so when I come back in I don't have all this stuff in here. Okay, I used to use this simple moving average 50 period, and let's go over to the edit. Alright, so the way to turn it off is just to say, uncheck this box that says Show Study. And then down here for the Show Plot, that has only applies to the tabs that are over here. So if there's multiple tabs running along here, they each will have their own Show Plot, Show Bubble, and Show Title. So the plot is actually the line that you see here. That's the plot for this SMA, if this was an SMA. And if there's other tabs, then it's going to have a separate 3 boxes for each one, provided it's a display. So, just to explain that a little bit, since this one's turned off, let's go over to, let's take a look at this Hull moving average. We'll pick that. Let's do that one. Okay, I have 2 Hull moving averages on here. I don't need 2, so I was thinking about looking at, well, you know, when one crosses the other, that's a sign. Well, we got plenty of signs. So I took that one off, removed it completely. Don't have to worry about it at all. Rest of these are all shut off. This is the only one that's turned on right now. Let's go to the edit. And here you can see that I have a Show Plot. I have Show Bubble and Show Title turned off, and I can explain what those are. I think it would be a little bit easier. Just let me back up a second here. I'm just winging this. Now, I don't have any storyline or outline or anything like that laid out. Let's go over to this one that we can see when we apply the changes. So I'll right click on the moving average itself and say I want to edit it. Edit it, which I could do over here as well. Alright, this one happens to be a 50 period. I'm going to change this over to a 20, and all I do is just double click in this field and it'll highlight the entire number, and all I have to do is just type 20 and press enter. Okay, that does not change it. If I hit the apply, there, it changed it. Okay? So now we have a 20 period moving average, which is the same as the 20 period on this chart, and I will be changing this one to a 20 period as well. Okay, now what does this show plot mean? Well, if you say you don't want to show the plot and you hit apply, then it's not showing. The study is still there, but it's not plotting it. So you want to turn the show plot on, hit apply, and there it comes back. The show bubble is this little bubble that's over here. If I say I want to show the bubble, it's going to show me the last data point on it, and there will appear a bubble over here, which should end up being the same color as this line. Let's give that a shot here. Bingo, there it is, right over there. There's the bubble. That's what that's called. So if you want to see that, you can, but what happens is, for me anyway, is over on the right side of the chart there ends up being all these bubbles over here, and it just drives me wacko. The only thing I'm really interested in is the price of the underlying, last price of the underlying. So I don't care about all these bubbles for moving averages. The only bubble I have down here is for the stochastic, only this plot. I don't even have any for the MACD. So that's what that is. Show title. And I can go ahead and click on that and say apply, but what the title is what appears up here. So it is it will be, one of these boxes up here which don't even fit on here. Way off over here to the right will be the whole thing. It'll say Hull moving average 20 period, displace 0 based on the close, and all that kind of stuff, which just takes up real estate, and I'm really not interested in it, and why would I want it to display that? So I just say I don't want to see that. You can pick your colors for your up and your down. You can pick the style of your line. You can say you want to make it nice and fat so you can't miss it. Personally, don't like that. So we go back to the skinny line. So that's for that one. So I'm using the Hull right now. I probably will continue to use it. It's just about as good as anything else. All right, another thing that I started to use here is right here. This is called PPS. And I look for, from a trend perspective, in other words, if I was going to do a directional trade, what kind of trend am I looking at? I have confirmation here with PPS, and it's amazing how close it comes to matching exactly what the Hull moving average is doing. So I have this on here just as a confirmation of sorts. So if the Hull moves up, I'll say, well, what's PPS telling me? PPS, all these indicators are lagging. They can appear and disappear as the day wears on, depending on what's happening with the price of the underlying. And I usually like to base it on the next day, and I look at what happened the previous day. So if we have an up arrow and the Hull is turned up, then my bias is bullish. And if it's like here where we have consolidation of sorts, you don't know if this is going to be a big move or not. So I tend to go over here too and say, well, how are we looking on a weekly perspective? And this is a 20 already over here, as you can see here. So we're good with that. So now we're 20 across the board. Stop it. We have a a hull 20, hull 20, and a hull 20. So do I want a third confirmation of my direction here? Yes, I would say I do want that. Alright, so much for the price chart portion. Now, the part that most people have questions about comes in with the stochastic mostly, and sometimes the MACD. So first let's take a look at the stochastic. Well, first of all, before we even get started at all, something that I probably should have been a little bit more clear on. This is the text document, which is, I don't know if you can able to read it up here, but it says Option Guru OGTOS Studies version 5. This is the latest version, and it has actually version 2 of the MACD and the stochastic that I have changed. So you will have to scroll down to find it. The instructions for creating a custom study are up here. You don't need to know any programming. I'm not a programmer, and I was able to figure a lot of this stuff out. So you just scroll down. What you want to flag out here is you want to look for time frame 1 to 5, because my charts here are, this is 5 candles per day, this is 5 candles per week, and this is approximately 4.4 candles per month. It comes out pretty much to, some months have 4 candles, some months have 5 candles, but it's roughly a 1 to 5 relationship for all these. 1 or 5 to one of these, and 5 to one of these. So that's what I mean by the time frame of being 1 to 5. Okay, so that's the first thing. All right, so this document is on my blog. It's in the download section. It's called Studies, TOS Studies. These are the custom studies. So we want to look for the time frame that's 1 to 5, not 1 to 3. So if you want to trade 1 to 3, you want to day trader, you want to trade, a 1 minute chart to a 3 minute chart, or 100 ticks to 300 ticks, or 300 ticks to 900 ticks, however you want to do it, you can do that. Knock yourself out. What was I going to say? We're looking for the 1 to 5s, so we need to scroll down. So we'll scroll down until here we go. Time frame 1 to 5 studies used for 1 to 5 time frame fractals. Okay, so here's the option for manual setup. I have a section in here that if you're using a different kind of a chart other than Thinkorswim, then this is what you use to set up that chart. Say you use stock charts or something like that. Most of them have these studies, and you can customize the study anytime you want. Here is the actual code. So when I say copy below this line, you just want to take it and copy it, highlight it, and then copy it. But this is not the one I want you to use. I want you to scroll down to the next one, which will be version 2 of the MACD 1 to 5. V2, that's the one that you really want. All right, and the same thing goes for the stochastic. Here's the 1 to 5 stochastic, and here is the version 2 1 to 5 stochastic. So make sure you have those, because they're definitely different. Okay, that being said, you can watch the original charts and studies and setup and stuff like that for CSSv2. You watch that one first if you're if you're new to this, or if you're if you know Thinkorswim good enough, you can just start right from here and put these studies in. So what you do, and I'm not going to go over it in any great detail, but you just come down here and you highlight everything. And I'm kind of a lazy guy, but you could say I want to copy this. I would do a Control-C, but just say copy, and then you go over to study editor, edit studies, and say you want to make a new study. Delete that, just say delete, and then paste. And then if everything's good, there you have it. You've just made a new study. You name it up here, and if you don't mind, just flatter me by coming over here and saying, I want to call it just like the old guru called it here. So let's just take this. And this is legal. I mean, this will work. You can't have any spaces in the name. You just copy this. Oops. Alright, that's the way you're going to be. And you put it up here. Oops. Well, that didn't work. Okay, now I copied the wrong thing. Alright, let's just forget about it. Anyway, you know how it works. I actually copied the whole code into the name of the... That didn't work too good. But that's how you do it. It's pretty easy. Now, even after you've done that, there's a few more things that you have to do to get it to look and act the way that I have it here. Alright, so I'm just going to right click on this and say I want to edit this study. So the first thing I want to do is I want to make sure that I have the show study. Now remember all of these things over here? This is version 2. Okay, and it says that we're customizing it right now. Okay, so full K and full D. I'm just checking this out here. Okay, I have full K turned on. Remember that bubble that we talked about? Here's the bubble right here. So I'm showing the bubble and I'm showing the title. I don't need to show the title, but so that whole title thing is down here, and I do want to be able to see exactly where it's at sometimes. Although splitting hairs on these really isn't probably not going to get you anywhere. I made the width 3, and that's pretty much it. Let's look at full D. I have it shut off. I don't even want to see it. So I'm not looking at full D. Overbought. Show the plot. Overbought is this line right here. It's at the 80. So we say overbought is at 80. And it's this, aqua colored line here. And there's the style and the numerical. And I don't want to see a bubble or anything, so all I want to do is just see the plot. Oversold is this line down here. Oversold is at 20, and that's where we want this line to be, is right at 20. It's that color, so that's our target. We want the MACD to get above the 80 and below the 20, and then hook. That's ideal. But as a secondary choice is at 70 and 30. So that's this midline 1 and midline 2. And I can set those levels here, 70 and 30. And they're both this gray color. So here's 30, here's 70. And that's it. Full K is shown, full D is not. Overbought and oversold are these lines here, and midline 1 and midline 2 are these secondary targets that we have here. Which in a strong trend, if it's only going to come, say it's in an uptrend and only comes down to 30 and gives us a hook, it's good enough for me in a good uptrend. Or in a downtrend, conversely, coming up to the 70 mark and hooking down is fine. Alright, that is stochastic. MACD, let me take a look at that one and refresh my memory. I haven't really gone through these very much. Value, I have shut off. We shouldn't have to touch anything. Any of these numbers up here were defaults in the code and they are already set up. You can change them, but I already have the default set, so you shouldn't mess with these up here. Value is turned off. Average is turned off, but I'm showing the title. I don't know why. I must probably forgot to turn it off. Difference, though, is the plot, and it says this plot's colors are dynamically set, so they're set in the code. So when it's greater than it was the day before, it's green. When it's equal to or less than, it's red. Okay? And I have the width set at 3. And you know what? I think that pretty much covers everything. I have the title shown here. So there should be, well, the title's up here. So, and let me tell you what the title does for you down here on these. Okay, so watch this box. See the Y? So that's the title box. And when I move my cursor along here, it gives you the value. Oh, man. I got these calls from this 800 number that they're just driving me nuts. And then half the time nobody even comes on. So lately I've just been answering them and letting them talk to nothing. Okay, so I think pretty much that's it. Same thing with this title up here. I can put my cursor here and it'll tell me what that value is. It already tells me there, but wherever my cursor is, yeah, it's telling me right up here in the NA box. It tells me what that value is. And the same thing here. Well, that should be giving me the same thing. This is telling me where my crosshair is from a y-axis. Same thing up here. Sorry about that. But this title over here, well, let's see what's wrong here. Let's get this to work. Alright, this is not turned on. Take that one off. Now, if I want to show the title for that one, yeah. Alright, now it should be different. Now, this blue bow, here it is. Yes, it's right here, this box right here. That's where the title for the value on this particular candle up here, this day, that's the value is 0.864, and then minus 3.327, etc. So that's where that comes from. Sometimes I learn things as I'm going through this. Sometimes I don't learn things. They're staring me in the face and I don't even see them. But anyway, I hope this helps you catch up on the studies and the chart setup. And that's pretty much all that I've really changed. I showed you how to, set up your grids and save them and things like that. So this is completely up-to-date studies as of November of 2014. And as usual, I'd like to thank you very much for watching and have a great day and happy trading.